We're all fine here. How are you?
How are you?
Exactly.
Boring conversation anyway. Not a good thing you want to hear in a podcast.
No, let's not start with that. Nope. Let's start with hello. Welcome to episode 191, another palindrome. I'm going to point them out every single time, which means I think every 10 episodes? Poor people.
Give or take.
These poor people. They must hate me by now.
Until we hit 1,000 episodes.
Oh, man. If only we can get away from palindromes
and we kick
so
it off.
quickly.
We kick off the four numbers with a palindrome. 1,
Hello, welcome to episode 191 of We Were Gamers, starting now. I'm joined by JJ.
Hello.
Michael.
Hey, everybody.
And fresh back from Disneyland, Ken.
Yeah, just arrived here from Batuu. The speeder just dropped us off. It was nice.
Yeah, thank you for carrying my small child around Disneyland.
You're very welcome. It's definitely, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I got her. And then after like a while, I'm like, oh wait, what did I get myself into? Especially, and it's mainly because like she likes to like thrash around a bit, and I'm like, that's the part where I'm like, oh, okay, no.
She kind of steers you by the hair.
Yeah, it's very, very Ratatouille like, where she's just like, no, this way.
Yeah. She kind of steered him directly into Kylo Ren.
Twice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And said that she had like something to say to him. She did. I believe there are videos of her wagging her finger in his face.
Ooh, give him a stern talking to.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the true centrist always saying that we can fix everything with discussion.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. No, it was fantastic. And Michael, I got to go on that Millennium Falcon ride.
Oh, so you finally experienced Smuggler's Run, huh?
Is that okay? That's the official name of it. Yes.
Yes. So what was your job?
I was doing both pilot jobs.
Okay. I feel like your arms might have been a little short for that one, but sometimes you got to reach your inner Wookiee and hit the brake button for the person whose arms are too short to hit them on their own position. Yep.
Yeah.
We did okay.
Yeah. We got 2 crates.
Yeah. Oh, you got 2 canisters. Yeah, you did great.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't call it great. We banged into a lot of stuff.
The engineers were working overtime trying to repair the ship.
They did a good job. Yes. Shout out to the family that was engineers. Our family. So at least I didn't feel bad.
So what did they make this stuff for if not to run into, really?
I know. Really, right? Yeah. It was a good ride. JJ, remember the old Back to the Future ride?
A ride that was not ever at Disneyland.
No, I know, but like the screen in front of you while you sit and it jostles and stuff. Imagine you could just kind of control and interact with that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, JJ, you haven't been on it yet?
No, it was closed before the last time I was there. So I haven't been to Star Wars Land or any of that stuff. But also, I don't care about spoilers, and I've read everything about all of it, so whatever. Okay.
Well, speaking of spoilers for rides, someone else got to Disneyland this weekend, Michael.
Yeah, Saturday was a very long day at the park. We were there at 6:30
a.m.
On the nose when they opened the Mickey and Friends parking lot so that we could get into the park before 8 to try and get a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance.
Which, for people that don't know, is another new ride that's opening in Star Wars Land, because I had no idea what it was until I started hearing people talk about it on the internet, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yes, so it's it is the second ride that has always been planned for Batuu. It originally was supposed to open here at Disneyland before Florida, and those dates got flipped for reasons. So it's been open there at Disney World for a couple of months now, and then Friday was the grand opening here.
Batuu is Star Wars Land for people following along that don't know what these
and
people
or
are talking
Galaxy's
about.
Edge,
also called that,
or Black Spire Outpost.
Also
Yes.
another name. See, this is the problem. No one knows what any of this is because they have 15 names for the same thing. It's not Tomorrowland. There's like 80 other names.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway.
So, Michael?
It is on a scale that is larger than anything else that I have experienced at a Disney park.
What does that mean? I'm sorry.
What does that mean?
Just so it is it's two rides in one. So you wait in the line, and then your group gets let into the first part of the ride, which you ride, and then you are ushered into a different area where you do a little more walking, and then you wind up in the second part of the ride, which you also ride.
Okay, but there's walking in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it
So it's
like
there's
line
two
walking?
So the walking in the middle is part of the story of the ride.
Okay, but it's not like line walking where it's super slow because they're backed up for the second part of the ride.
There's a very short line involved in it, but there's also like a big room for you, sort of like the main room on Smuggler's Run where you're sitting inside the common room of the Falcon.
Yeah, that was
There's a
pretty
big
cool, by the
room
way.
where you can sort of mill around and take in all of the detail that they've put into the room.
Okay. And I mean, every review of this has been off the wall. It's amazing. So,
yeah, it was definitely fantastic.
did it feel like it fit the rest of the theme they're going for in that part of the park where it's immersive, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, it definitely hit the right notes on being an immersive experience.
Okay. Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted from Disneyland.
I just want to point out, you said that it has a story.
Yes.
That's like, it's a ride, dude. There's a story to the ride.
Yeah, because they want the world to be immersive. I mean, just like, so Andy, for his first chance, got to do Smuggler's Run, and we had out our Disney Play apps, and you have things to do to keep you occupied if it's a long wait. And so you can scan crates because you're getting ready to smuggle stuff for a character. And so that, you get to check in your inventory. And then you get to learn other stuff as you go through that app. And I mean, it just helps to deepen the immersion and just kind of give you something to do as well, too. Like, they thought it out. It's good.
Yeah. Plus, this JJ is not like any of the other rides in the park where you're in it for like 60 seconds and then it's over. This is like 10 minutes worth of ride.
Okay, good.
Because of the two
I want you to explain this because this is why this sounds cool. I know what you're talking about here because I read on the internet.
Okay.
You didn't explain it at all, so tell us why this thing is cool.
How much of it do you want me to go into? Are we doing spoiler alert?
I mean, talk about the idea of what it is. Don't spoil the story for the people that want to write.
I don't want to spoil the story. So you are at the beginning. You are tasked with a mission, and you board a ship to set off on your mission, and it goes sideways. Right, so you get hijacked. So you wind up somewhere you're not supposed to, and then you have to be rescued. So the first part of the ride through is things going sideways on you, and then the second part is you getting rescued and escaping.
Okay, but
so I think that's the bones to it.
But maybe the idea of just like functionally what is it? So
yeah, explain
more of that is what I'm interested in because I don't want to know what it is. I didn't know anything about Smuggler's Run other than that it was like an interactive ride.
Mm-hmm.
And explain to me, how do I experience this ride? You said there's two parts. So I get in a car, I stand up, I walk through an exhibit. What?
Sure. Okay. So the first part is imagine Star Tours, but you're standing up.
Okay, so like
it's not in 3D, but you're staring at a screen. You're inside a craft. There's some pitch and roll to it, and then you wind up inside a building at the end of it, and you are basically escorted from where you're pulled off your craft to another location. And then as part of breaking out, you sit down inside of cars, 4x2, so 8 people per car, 2 cars per, so there's 16 total people in each group that goes through. And the car rides you through the rest of the ride, and it's all magnet controlled.
But it's not like an interactive thing, right?
No. You're sitting in the car and riding through it.
Cool.
Okay.
The ride, I've heard it compared most closely to, in terms of the way the second half works, the Ratatouille ride at Disney Paris, which I have never been to, so I can't directly make that connection myself.
Huh.
Okay. Well, that sounds very cool.
I'm still taken by Batuu. You know, just like overall, I feel like it's not as crowded as the rest of the park for some insane reason. And the experiences with the characters and just the environment seems relaxed compared to the rest of the park.
I think maybe too, people kind of kept away because it is the Rise of the Resistance opening, and you can see signs at different areas of the park in Tomorrowland saying the Rise of the Resistance park, that ride is capped off already. By the time we arrived, we saw signs as early as the parking structure saying like, "Hey, Rise is done for the day."
Oh, it took less than like 4 minutes the first couple of days. So
the stuff I read on the internet says within 2 minutes of the park opening, the queue is completely full and they're turning people away.
So they changed the way that the park operated, which is the main reason for that. They started letting people into Main Street at about 6:30 each morning over the weekend, so that people could be in to try and get into a boarding group when it went live at 8 o'clock.
Because you have to have your pass queued through the gates before you can. Yeah.
Huh. Well, I mean, it was even confusing in the app because I had to text Ken and say, "Can you ask somebody if Star Wars Land is even open?" Because in the app, if you click on Galaxy's Edge, it says it's closed.
That's strange.
Yeah, because it's trying to tell you that Rise of the Resistance isn't open, but you can see the queue for Smuggler's Run is 55 minutes, so it was very confusing. Right. And it was not 55 minutes. I don't know why it said 55 minutes. It was much shorter.
No,
than that.
It runs quick. It was shorter than what it told us when we were there the other day.
That time
it goes back and forth too.
Yeah, is never that accurate. It's like, 2 hours, and then an hour and a half later, 10 minutes, and you're like, what?
Yeah, and that's why they're handing people those little red
it's
like cards on lanyards for doing the timing.
Exactly. And it's like, how recently has one of those gone through the line? That's how accurate it is, basically.
Copy that. I think that's enough about Disney. People should go check out Galaxy's Edge. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Go ride that new ride.
If you can get on it.
Yeah, also too, if you are a fan of Star Tours, no spoilers about major spoilers, but minor spoilers, they updated it. So definitely worth a travel to check it out.
If you've seen the movie.
Yes.
Yes, true.
Personally, I think it is the best of the updates that they have done in the last couple of years.
I saw the one they did after The Last Jedi, and it was kind of like, okay, they certainly put characters I recognize in this.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of it.
Yeah, I was curious,
if ties into a scene in the last movie a little bit.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, oh, okay. I could see how that would have been a thing.
There are things in that last movie that they could probably make into a fun action ride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm hoping at some point we do get back to more of the roll the dice kind of like, you could get prequels, you could get a Ridge Tridge, you could get Rogue One. You don't like a Ridge Tridge? Sorry.
My guess is they have the randomizer off for a while so that people can see the new thing, And then maybe in a year or whatever, they go back to like letting people do whatever.
That has been their pattern.
I heard from, and it might have been you, Michael, that it's just Hyperspace Mountain all the time now.
No, actually, they had switched it back.
Oh,
when we were there on Saturday, so it is regular Space Mountain right now.
Okie dokie.
And they've added in a whole code system so that you can do more stuff with the Disney Play app. Ebony and I were there today, and you can find these codes all over and put them in the app, and you do like a racing game thing. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad they're doing something with their app. All right. We can't stay on Disneyland all day, even though I'd like to. Although I was there all day and I'm exhausted, so maybe not.
And I'll say one thing before we leave. I would love it if they would have left one of the Star Tours pods left to the original story and just never updated.
That's a standing argument from this podcast. You've joined the group.
We've had that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it is your first flight, and it's mine too. So
those robots are still in the park. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They can drag one back over. All right. Well, like any good cage match, the best part is after it's over and you think, oh, they can't do anything more with this, and then someone else gets tagged in. I think we set off a little bit of a powder keg last week. If you haven't heard, episode 190, we did a thing. I can't even... Okay, we ranked Star Wars movies. I'm just going to say it.
All 11.
Well...
Wait, what do you mean?
Here's Ken to say there's 12. Here he is.
There's 12.
There he is. I knew we wouldn't even get past saying there were 11. That's it. There we are. Like I said.
What's the 12th one?
The 12th theatrically released Star Wars
Clone
movie.
Wars.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's not, though.
Not a movie.
It is a movie.
It's a movie.
He's going to get technical on you. But if you want to watch that movie, you have to watch the show because they used it as the pilot.
Okay, so it's not a movie. That's what it is. Okay.
We didn't caveat it well enough and say live action films.
We'll edit that in.
Yeah. You go back to 190 now. All 11 live action films.
No, we don't need to edit it. It's 11 very clearly understood by every person who's not being a pendant. So
very clearly we didn't get the superfan vote.
Yeah, exactly.
When we ranked our 11 films. And also we touched off multiple people who have texted and called and emailed to tell us things like our opinions on Rise of the Skywalker and Revenge of the Sith we're too high on them.
Hey, don't text people right into the podcast, guys. You don't need to text the showrunners right into the podcast.
Look,
get your opinion in the correct and honest way. Don't try to slide in the back door.
All these things exist. But I have a feeling if we just let Ken go, we're going to get all of those opinions just all in one. Just wrapped up real easy. So should we recap our lists first before he gets to go?
Yeah, let's just give the rundown.
Okay. I was New Hope, Rogue One, Rotjay, Empire, Solo, which, God, JJ, the next time we see
your
each
list,
other...
bro.
Sith, Skywalker, Clones, Awakens, Phantom, Last Jedi. I actually might move Empire up one spot, but those two are tied. I don't know. Anyway, somebody else go.
So I was Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Rogue One, Force Awakens, Return of the Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, The Last Jedi, Solo, Attack of the Clones, and Phantom Menace.
And then mine were Last Jedi, Rogue One, Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Solo, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Attack of the Clones, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Phantom Menace.
I just want to correct Michael because he said The Last Jedi is number one.
Return of the Jedi.
He obviously meant Return of the Jedi. No corrections.
Yes, yeah. even with Return of the Jedi at number one, as much as I disagree with JJ's placement of Solo and Force Awakens, Michael's list is hotter in the terms of takes, I think.
Return of the Jedi #1 is a very spicy.
It's
take.
pretty. It's got some heat. You know, he dashed it with some cayenne.
I'll take that.
All right, hold on, Ken. I can't. I have to hold on before you. Okay, beer open. Here we go. Go ahead, Ken.
All right. So I'm going from 12 up, moving up to my favorite.
No, we're not doing 12 up. If you put Clone Wars in there and it's not number 12, then we're not counting it wherever you put it.
We are just removing it from the list.
Number 12, Clone Wars.
Okay, that's perfect. Good idea.
Start.
Perfect.
But I still acknowledge it's a movie. It was theatrically released. It deserves its
it got its proper due. It got dropped off the list at number 12.
Hold on. If it's number 12, that means it's below my not worth watching tier. So it's like, whoa.
It's in the these are dead to us tier.
Yeah, man. Actively harmful tier.
The series is really good. The first two seasons are rough. You haven't made it past like the first season, so you can't speak too much about its quality because you didn't watch the better stuff.
I have further comments about animated shows at the end of this that we will get into.
We will continue on then. All right.
Get going.
Moving up. Number 11, Phantom Menace. It's it's
garbage.
It's so slow. There's stuff I'm just like, really? Why? Okay.
You don't need to defend it being an 11. You're good.
Preach.
Attack of the Clones is next on my list.
Yes. Preach.
It's not that. No, I mean, no matter what, you have to have a top and bottom, so it's got to be somewhere on there.
I agree. Okay, I get it.
I still enjoy the arena battle with all the Jedi. Like visually, like that's a dream a child has, and just like that's amazing.
You know,
one of the only two scenes I remember from that movie.
When I was a kid, I was really upset that Jango Fett just got aced instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then now when I watched it, I'm like, yeah, get him, Mace Windu. Cut him up faster. Split him in half.
You either die a hero.
Yeah, exactly. You are nailed it. Podcast over.
Man,
10, 11, 9, go.
Sorry, I lost my list. Next. Oh, and also, but that fight with Jango and Obi-Wan, that's fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on past Attack of the Clones. Revenge of the Sith. Like, it's just, they're kind of stuck in, for me, kind of quality-wise together. So we're looking at Revenge of the Sith. And this one jumped between the number 8 back and forth in my head a little bit. I'm still not set.
Okay, so you have a tier break here. Yeah.
Yeah. Rise of Skywalker, number 8.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This Last Jedi movie's getting pretty high up the list here.
Yeah, the more I try and think about it, the more I keep going back and forth on how I feel about it. My first read was net positive, and I still feel net positive, but there's times where I'm just like, like, what were they trying to do? Like, there's no, like, cohesive idea from 1 or, from 7, 8, and 9. And I mean,
every time I think about Babu Frick, I want to move Skywalker down my list.
They tried to tell 3 movies worth of story in one movie, and it's like, no, this doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's why I had that tier where it was like, these could have been good if they weren't Cliff Notes movies. Anyway.
And it's like, it had so much going against it too, things it couldn't even control, like with Carrie passing, and like there's kind of like, no matter what, we had like taken out from underneath us. So
not using Lando to do anything.
Yeah, he brought everybody in the end, like including Biggs. He shows up.
No, Biggs is dead. You mean Wedge?
I do mean Wedge. I don't know why.
God.
Yeah,
we brought him on as a what? A super fan?
You know what? It's an emotional day for me. So I had Kylo Ren in my face, and thankfully I had a child there to protect me.
Was it the child?
It was not the child. It was a child.
Man, there were a lot of the child jerseys there today.
Oh, there was all weekend.
Yeah. I'm
Number
guessing
7.
they just started selling them. Sorry, 7. Go.
Yes.
7. No, it's okay. Yeah, they started with Solo.
7.
Reasonable.
Yeah,
reasonable.
Okay.
It dropped. I enjoy it still, but it's just there's other moments I enjoy in. There's more moments I enjoy in the further up movies than Solo.
I feel like if they had called that movie Solo and Chewie, it would have been up to 6 for you. Easy. Just changing the name.
No, because like even like the introduction to Chewie, like, oh, what's his life debt that he owes? I'm like, oh, he broke him out of jail. Like, I want a giant life debt. I want him to be like, no, this is why I forgo my child and wife to be with you. I'm with you to the end of the road.
Implied that his kid and his wife are dead.
No, his child Lumpy is alive in canon
Because of the Star Wars special.
Because of Aftermath, the Star Wars novels Aftermath.
Oh.
So yeah, no, I don't. The Holiday special isn't canon.
I kind of read into
it is. That's where we disagree. It is now completely and fully canon.
You're like, no to Clone Wars, but definitely Life Day. I need to hear about the Life Day.
Dude, Life Day is everywhere and allwhere. Hold on. I kind of defend the life debt in this way. He let him go after he saved his life from the Imperials, right? And let him free all the Wookiees and was like, see you later, man. I have a good life. So the life debt there is not, it wasn't a strong bond then, right?
Okay, so it's not just his life debt. It's also
it's the life debt of like, hey, we busted all those Wookiees out of Kessel and other stuff. So I when I watched the film, I'd never thought like, oh, the life debt is because he broke him out. They broke each other out, right? They were both thrown in the pit.
Yeah.
So that's where I picked that from.
Is Chewie shouldering the burden from all these other people?
I think so. That was the implication. Pretty messed up, man.
Those people are shirking their duties.
Hey. Who are you to tell them what their culture is, friendo?
I mean, I'm just saying. That seems like they're really putting a lot of their their labor.
You better go take it up
here.
to the Wookiees and hope they don't tear your arms off.
Yeah. Seriously, next time you break them out of a life death camp where they're enslaved, then you can talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, you should carry a bunch of what is that stuff called? I can't even remember the name of the MacGuffin in that film.
Because it's a MacGuffin.
We just captured 2 tankers of it today.
Oh, that's right. I still don't remember what it's called.
The spice. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the spice must flow. You guys. No. It must.
Oh, no.
That's the right universe.
And Kessel does mine spice, I'm pretty sure.
There are space slugs in those films.
Hmm?
You know, that's the other thing. When I rewatch, I should have led in with this because we got so much flack for last episode. I am on a current rewatching in timeline order of films. Anyway, I watched Solo, and one of the things that bothered me about Solo and why I was on it at the first time I watched it and really like it the second time is because of the giant space octopus. Mm-hmm. And then I rewatched number 5, and there was like, hey, we have space slugs with bats living in them. And I said, space octopus is just fine.
Oh, yeah. I was never bothered by the weirdness of that thing.
Yeah, I'm over that part. So that movie's good, but whatever. You can have it at 7. I just, it's better than JJ's number 6. Go.
Last Jedi.
Okay, too high.
Is it better? Hold on, Andrew. I put Rise of Skywalker here. You're saying Last Jedi is
no? This should be way further down the list. Solo should move up. If he's got Last Jedi here, Solo should be higher. But that's my opinion.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We all had this movie much lower, I think.
Yeah, I want to know your
what did you like
redeeming opinion. Yeah.
We're expanding the world. We'll see what happens to Luke, because Luke is my favorite character. So I want to see what happened with him, and I want to see.
You wanted to see him drink milk straight out of a cow?
He drank it out of the container after he milked into the teat.
All right.
I mean,
so
Ken wants to see Luke at his depressed low and his ascending high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he comes around. He sees the error of his ways, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? No, I got to by trying to be the legend of Luke Skywalker and handle that burden. I broke under it, and that's exactly the problem." Then he doesn't try to like redefine what that means to be a Jedi. He just says, "Oh, I was a failure. I get to step back now." And then he learns, like, no, you know what? I still have to play my part. I still have to do something with this. I need to
agree with this part that you're saying.
Yeah.
But and so he does. I think you're reading that. Because really what happens in the film is one of his Padawans turns to the dark side and he goes on a mopey trip out into space.
Yeah, he gets sad. He's depressed.
Yeah, but it also costs the life of his other Padawans too.
Isn't there precedent for that though, Andy? Isn't he just following in Obi-Wan's footsteps?
No,
or Yoda's.
No,
or Yoda.
Yoda's more likely, but Obi-Wan, based on based on other
stuff.
Yes, it's canon stuff, and it will be more canon stuff as this Disney Plus series comes out. Obi-Wan's doing the protecting stuff of being near the Anakin's stepbrother, the Lars family, while they watch over Luke.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Which
begs the question, like, why did Bail Organa not have a Jedi nearby? But maybe there was, and they'll write that story later. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. That's actually interesting because I don't think. I mean, they've done some novels about Leia, but not as many as they've done about Luke as a child. And some of the stuff with Ben. There's comics right now that have a good fill in some gaps there.
No, see, so
Are they not telling that story to preserve the surprise at the end of Return of the Jedi?
Wait, what?
Oh, are they not telling that story because if you have a Jedi with Leia the whole time, then everyone knows that she's Luke's brother because they're...
Oh, no. Most of Leia's stuff that they've talked about with her in the canon in her youth is just her being more of a diplomat, learning that from her father and like how she learns to be that senator.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. So their option for hiding her was, they adopted a baby because they couldn't have a baby, right? And so they just roll with like she's just there, and no one questions it. And then I don't know. I mean, at the end of the third one, Yoda tells him he has to go. Tells Ben that he has to go to Tatooine to practice learning how to become one with the Force. Which, okay, whatever. I mean, it's all good. And then he protects the family by being there, supposedly. To your point about Yoda, I don't quite see, especially having very recently rewatched number 5, the same parallels with Yoda and Luke, because Yoda still is full of the same hubris that ended the Jedi, right? Which is the story of 1, 2, 3, is the idea that shunning your hate and your anger and all these things eventually leads you to being an imperfect being and clouding your brain and all this sort of stuff, which is what happens to them. So Yoda is on a planet and just doesn't want to train Jedi because he sees their failure, not his failure, I think, personally. Okay, now the podcast has died. Number 5.
And my list died. Hold on.
Oh, well, anyway, I don't see that movie being as strong as people think it is, but I haven't made it back there yet. I don't know. The aspirations of what people say occurred in The Last Jedi do not meet with the film that I saw.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah. Moving on then. Force Awakens, number 5.
Really only, if you think about this, really only one spot below me, which
I know both of you are crazy.
Well, here's for me too. It's like that moment of sitting in the theater and before, like when those credits start, when that movie starts up, the movie could go anywhere. Like I know a lot of people hate that they got rid of the EU, but it's with a blank slate. We got to go anywhere. The movie was about to go anywhere at all. We could have gone.
We went to rip off Tatooine.
We did go to Tatooine 2.0. Poor man's Tatooine. Yeah,
poor man's Tatooine. Exactly.
I mean that's a joke in The Last Jedi where she's like, I'm from nowhere. She's like, no one's from nowhere. I'm from Jakku. Okay, that's nowhere. Like they even make that joke themselves. They understand that. Like
it wasn't a funny joke though.
I laughed. But so I mean, it was fresh and new, and like it was great to see the world back, and and also the practical effects being back in Star Wars as opposed to the CG fest we had with the prequel trilogy. Like, it felt more lived in and real, and like we got to back the Falcon, and there's so many other things there, and where Solo for me, because we had kind of like we were going in kind of familiar places. I was hoping we'd get hints of old stuff. Like we did in my number 4. like Solo didn't swing into it enough for me. Like I was bothered when they didn't have the droid was named L33T
7
Leet. Yeah, or 7. Yeah. 337. Yeah, exactly.
But hey, hold on. First of all,
yeah,
that does tie in because later on, C-3PO says that the Falcon speaks a very peculiar dialect.
Right. No,
and once you see L3 speak, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Come on.
Oh wow, I didn't get that till now. So that feels like a groaner, but
it is a groaner. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it connects.
Like I would have been much happier if that would have been Lebo, and then I'm like, all right, cool, I'm on board. We're on. Let's keep going.
Look, they named the robot Leet. It's not great.
Yeah, but like BB-8, I love BB-8. Like it's probably my third favorite, fourth. I don't know.
Why? Why do you love BB-8?
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because I think BB-8 is kind of one of the more annoying features of the sequel trilogy.
He is so fun in The Force Awakens. Later on, and there's definitely problems, and I'm bothered by things like where R2, when he rolls up to R2, he's like, oh yeah, R2's just been asleep for a while. He's in power saver mode. I'm like, and then nothing jolts him awake, but just like the Force. So he just happens to start back up.
You want to move it down your list? Because you can live edit.
I can live edit. I'm still good with, but see, if I move it down, that just pushes the Last Jedi up.
Or you Solo. So, just move Solo there.
I think Solo's good.
Andrew, you need to stop your rampant Solo homerism on this podcast.
So the potential of what Last Jedi, where we are going, Force Awakens, and just the joy of going back to the theater for that was what keeps it so high in my list. I do know it's a lot of retread, but like I got more of what I liked. It's like when people are like, oh yeah, that game plays like this first game, and I'm like, but if that's what I wanted, then I'm kind of okay with that. Like it gave me some new things, but it also was familiar. So
that's a valid reason to watch a movie for sure, and why JJ ranked it highly.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes retreading something that's really good is a good idea.
Andy is just still bitter they changed the dish on the Falcon.
Bruh. Why is it a square? That is an inefficient design.
I mean, yeah, it's bad. Don't do that.
It's all they can find on Jakku. What do you want from them?
What? Oh my god.
Number 4.
Rogue One.
It lies flat in the other movies. And
Andrew,
then
we don't have time for this. We're moving to number 4.
Number 4 is Rogue One.
Okay.
I love the. I mean, again, this is where like my EU brain kicks in, and I'm like, I love Dark Forces. That game was like, awesome. Yes. And so the fact that there's like little nods to Cassian Andor, it feels a little bit similar to Kyle Katarn for me, at least the first version of Kyle Katarn. Later on, there's all the other stuff, and then Jen Erso is a nod to Jan Ors in my head. I'm like, cool, I'm on board. Let's do this. This feels familiar enough, but it's also new enough. That's cool.
Everything about it is enjoyable, and I was shocked that we all ranked it within those original trilogy and not below. This is where I expected most people to rank it when I put it higher.
Yeah.
So
Rogue One is great.
Rogue One.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just we treaded on Rogue One a lot because we all like it quite a bit, and that it has the EU feel of there's just so much here that we're not even gonna like explain it. Like do you want to know what the Guardians of the Wills are? Too bad.
Cool. They did use your imagination.
Don't read that novel.
Yeah, they did the good thing of, hey, here is a story in the Star Wars universe. Maybe it's tangentially related, although this one is pretty directly related to like one of the other movies. But it didn't have to be.
No. Yeah.
They kind of could have just left it off at the end and just said, at the end the plans get out. Yay. I mean, but the way they tie it is extremely cool and part of why it's so good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right.
I like the Rebellion era.
654, we could just be done.
It does not.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Lower
because
number 2, Return of the Jedi, is the closure of Luke's story, and we see where he's going.
Hold on. I thought The Last Jedi was the closure of Luke's story.
For what we had at the time, there was a good time. There's a good long period there where this is all we had for him.
Okay.
And like, so we get to see, does he turn to the dark side? Like, I love the design motif of that black, like, tunic jacket thing he's got rolling with. And like, it's all black. You think, okay, he could go evil. He could go to the dark side here.
It does.
And yeah. And then he goes all out. And then at that last minute, that little flap comes open and it's white. And you're like, no, he's good inside. And it's just, I love that little bit. And I love the, you know, I'm a Jedi like my father before me, and that all of that. And like the struggle of between when, like in Empire Strikes Back, they're saying, oh, you know, you've got to face, you're not ready to face Vader. You can't, it's not your time yet. And he's like, well, I have to go save my friends. So I have to go help. And then he fails dramatically. And then the story for Return of the Jedi is, oh no, it's like, now you have to face Vader and see what that means to you. And you might have to kill him. And he's like, no, there's still good in him. Again, he disagrees with them. And he didn't learn his lesson, but he learned the better lesson of, no, the compassion is going to win here. My father, I can still feel the good in my father. And like, I love that story. And then there's all the stuff with Han and like that. It's so like everything there. You get the beginning where Luke comes back as this badass into Jabba's palace. And he's like, no, you'll give me Solo and, you know, and the Wookiee.
All right. I'm moving it back up my list. I can't stop flipping these two films.
Yeah. So then number 1 is A New Hope. Yeah. I mean, it started it all. It brought us here. So
it's eminently watchable as a standalone film, and that's why it's interesting that Michael didn't have it at number 1.
I mean, I didn't either, but it's also fair. Like it is the second best Star Wars movie in my opinion, so it's like really high up there.
3.
Yeah, I know. Michael's opinions are spicy.
Wow. 4. That's cool though. I mean, I'm glad he did it, but somebody had to. All right, so go top to bottom, Ken.
Top to bottom: A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, The Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, Solo, The Rise of Skywalker, The Revenge of the Sith, The Attack of the Clones, The Phantom Menace,
and we're done.
Clone Wars.
Yeah, and we're done. Great.
Hey, I could have put Caravan and Courage on here. We could have been talking about.
No, we specifically said no Ewok films.
Hey, that's why I said theatrical movies on my list.
So, Ken, did you do yours in just a straight list, or did you have sort of tiers that they fell into?
I mean, I did have like there's like things that I'll rewatch, you know, multiple times. Things I'll watch a couple times, and things like, oh, unless the next movie comes out and it's due for a rewatch. I actually can't think of the last time I watched Phantom Menace. Like that, it's been so long.
I did it for this podcast.
Yeah,
There's a lot of poop jokes.
Yeah, there's
because
like literal poo jokes where they say poo.
Poodoo, yeah.
Yeah, not good.
Hey, at least don't say McClunky.
Can we? You know why it's not last on mine? I think I said it before, but something I didn't realize and someone emailed us about was the ones with lightsaber fights should go higher. And I think that's something that was like...
I mean, that makes Solo go down the list.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh. There you go. Bang.
There are no lightsaber fights in it. There are lightsabers in it because, spoilers, people show up with them, but...
Wait, what? Huh?
Solo?
Yeah.
There's a hologram, and he's got
Bruh, that does not count.
I mean,
I'm just saying it's there.
That
you
is
said
not
fights,
count.
So I was clarifying.
All right.
It's dumb. It shouldn't have been in the movie.
Well, maybe not. We'll get to that in a minute. I, though, didn't realize I was going to just... I just didn't realize that I had ranked the ones with the fights that I like the most towards the top.
I mean, valid reason to watch movies.
Not just the lightsaber battles, but like the more clean and understandable starship battles where you're like, I understand where the ships are and what they're doing.
Yeah, gee, it's almost like the prequel trilogy loved those smash cuts and snap cuts back and forth, and it makes things real hard to tell whatever is going on.
And the post
literally every movie that does it is terrible.
Huh.
Not just Star Wars movies.
And I have to say, maybe in some of those later movies, the lightsaber use is kind of haphazard. And
that reminds me. When your argument against The Force Awakens, this is one thing that did pop in my head, was how does Rey fight Kylo at the end of The Force Awakens?
Sure, okay.
Okay, so they spend a good portion of the movie saying, oh, look at Chewbacca's bowcaster. Let me try and use that. Shoot this dude, kills 3 people, launches them in the air. He shoots this thing over there, they explode in a shower of death. That bowcaster, they hang a lantern on it several times. Like, look at this bowcaster. He shoots Kylo, and he just stands there and takes it. Kylo Ren, dude's able to stop a bolt of from a turbo laser, and just stop it and hold it in midair. Dude takes one of those hits to the abdomen, just stands there, and then comes after them. And then the entire fight, like, he's hitting his side so that he's causing himself pain, so he strengthens himself in the dark side of the Force. Like, he is already a wounded animal. They see him, as soon as they walk up to him, he's hitting his side and there's blood on the ground. So he is a wounded animal at this point. And so he's even fighting, he already fights Finn, and even Finn is able to do some damage to him. And he's toying with Finn for the most part, but he gets cocky, and so Finn is able to land a blow. And so he's like, oh, well, F this dude, cuts it, takes him out. And then he starts to fight Rey. So it's like he's already gone through all this damage. And then she finally accesses the Force and, holds her own. But before that, he's still like, pushing advancing on her the entire time until that point where he's like, reach out to me. I can teach you, I can show you the Force. And she's like, oh shit. Right. I've learned the Force now.
I have so many rebuttals. Whatever you said here, it's kind of
okay.
It's kind of all over the place. But
okay.
First of all, the wounded animal thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to just suggest you don't approach a wounded animal.
Well, they were trying to get away.
Not a good plan.
They were trying to run away.
Generally speaking, cornered, wounded animals are not what you want to go near. They get vicious.
But he wasn't cornered. He was pushing.
Okay. Hold on. And then the guy is like super trained in fighting with sabers and the Force and has the dark side on his side. So maybe it kind of wouldn't matter if he got injured a little bit. I don't know that it really shows to me in a level playing field if he's able to punch himself in the side to gain more Force power that you would be able to then stand up to him.
Well, he's trying to. He's trying to get any advantages he can at this point because he's so hurt. He's not. Again, you saw what the bowcaster did to finish everything else up until that point. And Chewie hits him like, boom, center mass. So you think he's at his peak of performance right there?
I don't know. Somehow he got out of there and up to the top of Death Star planet pretty quickly.
He had a turbo lift. Why wouldn't you use it? Come on.
All right. Well, it's like 3 movies from now for me, and I'll rewatch and try and use this information to give it more weight, I guess.
Okay.
I have to be open-minded.
No, you don't. We already did the rankings. It's over. You can.
It's never over. And in fact, it's never over. And you can go to wewergamers.com/SW-ranks. wewergamers.com/SW-ranks. And all 4 rankings will be there by the time this podcast airs.
Whoa.
And we'll put a little thing there that says when they were last updated, because I'm just going to keep flopping on Return of the Jedi and Empire weekly.
That's fair.
Man. We're not going to have time to get to the rest of this stuff, but I have to mention and ask, are the lightsaber fights in Rebels better than the ones in some of the movies there, Ken?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. There's definitely, I highly recommend Rebels.
So
as much as I say that there's a mix between Clone Wars at times, I think Rebels is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Good.
So we kind of bagged on Clone Wars, rightfully, in this show, I think. But so I was curious about Saw Gerrera after saying we love Rogue One so much. And I felt like I needed to put my money where my mouth was and watch that Rebels show where they talk about why Saw Gerrera turns into a crazy person. And so far, it's pretty good, you guys.
Okay.
In like if you have any interest in beyond canon and you don't want to do something like read books, what starts as like a Aladdin ripoff with like Prince Ali giving him a lightsaber or whatever, and then
this is a very
I don't remember that part of Aladdin, but
I was gonna say this is a tortured metaphor right here. But let's go.
I mean, am I wrong?
I mean, I've heard the parallels. I get it, but I don't know. I think it's a thin
he's
thread.
A kid who lives on the streets and makes a living.
Street rat?
He might be some street rats and riffraff and stealing from the authorities to give to
look closer.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then becomes anointed as a type of royalty
of Babwa.
The parallels die pretty quickly off, and as well as this show is for kids stuff kind of dies off pretty quickly. I would say by maybe 10 episodes in, you get away from the like whiny kid stuff into the training as a Jedi stuff, and a lot of tie-ins to Force characters, and they bring in other characters like Yoda and Grand Moff Tarkin and some other ones I don't want to spoil. And it kind of ties into the universe and stuff, and it's as things go, it seems rewarding for watching it versus maybe Clone Wars, where you just sort of all you need to know is there's a character named Ahsoka, and that she's kind of important, and people like her or don't like her. There, I've summed up the Clone Wars for you.
I have a question for you, Andy.
Okay.
If I cherry picked like a 3-episode arc from the stuff that I think would be the better in Clone Wars, would you give it a chance to watch just that?
Only if General Grievous is not being a complete moron.
Okay, that's fair. There's some stuff in there. I'm not saying it's all good. There's definitely stuff where there's an arc where it's like, oh, this focuses on these characters. I'm like, why would you give this character his own arc? But there's other ones where they introduce, because Saw Gerrera appears for the first time in Clone Wars, and you see
but also the things like Commander Cody are in there, and you're like, why am I watching a bunch of Commander Cody when I know what he's gonna do in the next movie? You know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is you learn about the clones and what it means to be a soldier in a war where every one of your brothers in arms is literally your brother, because it's, I don't know.
I feel like that clone game, what was it called, JJ? The one
clone.
There was a game where you were a clone, but it was like also kind of Modern Warfare-ish.
Republic Commando?
That one.
There's 2 of them.
Did anybody else play those?
Yeah, or no, I didn't play them, but I know of them and the novels.
Those gave me a feeling of what it's like to be a clone.
Yeah,
except I think for the whole thing about being a clone. But we're gonna run out of time here. I think we should wrap up talking about something timely here for 5 minutes.
Okay, so Homeowner's Minute.
No more Star Wars. No. We're done. We're done with Star Wars. We can't do any more Star Wars. It's impossible. Should we go quick roundtable, AGDQ? What was your favorite thing?
Oh, yeah. Dude. Oh, there were so many good ones this year.
Okay. Do we have time? Because we could do more next week, but I thought it was timely to mention it now. Because it just ended.
Everyone name it ended like a week ago by the time this goes up or something.
Okay. I'm going first, though.
Anyway, whatever.
I'm going first.
Go ahead.
I'm going first because I have to say crowd control.
What a ridiculous.
I just had to say it first because I don't have a better one.
what Andrew is saying is the video you should watch is A Link to the Past randomizer with crowd control.
So the principle is, we've talked about A Link to the Past randomizer on this show before, where you play A Link to the Past, but every chest and other stuff is randomized, so you don't know where anything is. The game should not lock you into a unwinnable situation, but it may take you hours and hours and hours to find the things you need to get unlocked in terms of other stuff, right?
Yep.
Crowd control is an extension of Twitch where you spend bits to affect the game. So Correct. If you spend 1,500 bits, you can take away a heart container from the player. Or if you spend 3,000 bits, you could send a heart container back to the player. Or you could take away a rupee for 1 bit. Or you can add a rupee for 10 bits. Or et cetera, et cetera.
To be clear, bits are a currency you can pay Twitch for to use.
But all the bits in this crowd control were going to charity. So at least there's that. Man, Michael. You were maybe the last one to watch it because you didn't watch it live?
I haven't quite finished it, but okay. I'm halfway through.
Have you made it to the infinite time, the time when he basically had infinite cuckoo attacks?
I mean,
that's
happened a few times.
That's a lot of the run.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so good.
It's pretty good.
The infinite cuckoo plus one hit KO.
One hit KO, yeah.
He's spamming the hook shot only to realize partway through that using the hook shot pauses the timer.
Yep. And he's like, oh no, every time I fire it advances like 2 frames or something.
You know, that guy has played that quite a bit. I'm pretty sure a lot of the time he was kind of hamming it up for the camera.
I mean, there's
some of that going on.
At some point, there's nothing you can do, though. They turn on the cuckoo attack and one hit KO. You're gonna die.
Or there's just the instant kill as a purchasable incentive.
There was definitely times when he was like, you can't possibly get rid of all my bombs in time. You know?
Yeah.
To try and get a bid war going. But it was a pretty fantastic run to watch the game be randomized, but people should just watch it. I don't need to talk about it anymore than that. But that I can't get enough of that one. I've watched it twice through, maybe.
Michael, you want to pick one that you like?
Yeah. So I really liked Mushihime Samafutari 1.01.
Stop and spell that.
No. No.
It was a game that I knew absolutely nothing about, had never heard of before, and I just happened to catch it on stream. And it is a bullet hell to the nth degree.
That's a type of game. Bullet hell.
It is just infinite bullets on. If you think about like a vertical scrolling like plane game where you're at the bottom of the screen, you're shooting your missiles up. Well, this is like that, but there's about 80 trillion bullets on the screen coming down at you, and you're this tiny little plane in the bottom.
Yeah, but what made it so interesting is that your hitbox is apparently 1 pixel by 1 pixel. And so you can navigate through gaps that you can't really register that they're even gaps.
But it doesn't matter, dude. The screen is impossible to read. Like, I don't know how you can do it. It's a really impressive run. After Michael recommended it to me, I watched like 80% of it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then Gusta's speech at the end.
Yeah, very cool.
JJ?
I am going to be extremely on brand here and pick the Mario Maker 2 relay race.
I thought you were going to go with Sekiro.
No, I like the Sekiro speedrun also, but the Mario Maker one was way more fun to watch. So
those are always so much fun.
Yeah, some really cool levels.
Blindfolded? Part of it?
No, but
level blind.
So none of the people on the teams had seen the levels before, so it was all.
That was what they meant by blind. Got it.
Right, so it was new to them, so they couldn't practice other than just playing Mario. You know, but yeah, so they new levels for everyone there, and they are now uploaded on Maker. If you want to play the same levels they played, you can do it. Guess what? They're really hard.
Did you try them?
I've played a couple of them. Yeah,
nice.
They're hard. Can confirm.
Hey, well, sincere congratulations to the Games Done Quick crew as they smashed another record and raised $3.4 million.
I don't remember what the final
question mark
was.
Yes, I believe that's
it's a high number. And
a lot of money.
It might have been a 3.14. Anyway, it's in there. That's a lot of money. And congrats.
Also, if you want to see some really messed up stuff, some of the not messed up, sorry, some really crazy stuff. There were a bunch of bonus incentive games at the end. People should go watch those. Really good stuff there.
Absolutely. In the meantime, if you want to correct Ken on his rankings, since he decided to wade into this mess, JJ, where does that opinion go?
You can send that opinion to podcast@weweregamers.com. And if you want to hear this very show on your podcast of choice, you can follow us on Spotify. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever fine podcasts are distributed. And leave us some reviews on your various medias of choice. We appreciate that. And, we're happy to hear from you on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you find out about us.
Okay, but if we had to rank the Ewok movies...
No.
Well, so is there a tier below actively harmful?
No, Wicked's in them.
Yeah, so it's like not worth watching, and then below that is actively harmful. And then what's below that?
Surgeon General's warning.
So not Caravan of Courage or The Battle for Endor? Neither of them? Like none?
All of them are fine. I think they're good.
That is truly the spiciest opinion.
Cindy! Cindy!